time, right? So we'll start sitting comfortably. Speaking of comfort. But bringing yourself to whatever is comfortable for you so that you can sit tall, and just taking a moment to slow down our breath and go inside as we begin. So lengthening the spine, and eyes soft or closed, whatever's comfortable for you, and just elongating the breath as we draw the breath all the way down into the belly, into the pelvis, and let it all the way out. Letting our awareness be with our breath, and just allowing the belly to relax and the hips as we breathe. The shoulders, letting go of our jaw and our tongue and then brow area. If you like, you can add a little sound on the exhale to help with that letting go. If that feels good to you. Whatever might want to come out. It can be soft, it can be loud. Sometimes letting the sound come out can really help us settle into the body and into our breath. And then we'll take one hand and just tap the hara or the dantian underneath the navel, the low belly area, gently tapping there for a couple of breaths. Then bringing our hands up to our chest and tapping gently around the heart, thymus area. You can do it with flat hands or your fingertips or fists, whatever. Just putting a little bit of vibrational movement there. And then taking our hands to our scalp and massaging a little bit around the scalp and head. Waking up our head and all of those meridians that cross around our scalp, cross through the scalp. Good. And then to our ears, we'll do a little massage as well. So rubbing, maybe pulling a little bit so we can awaken our vagus nerve. And just do a little massage there. And then we'll bring our fingers inside of our ears, gently pull down and hold as you breathe. And release. Good. And arms out. We'll do a little spine movement as we reach our arms forward, reach through the fingertips, pull our heart back towards our spine, and then bring our arms back and kind of squeeze them back as we lift our heart, right? And moving a couple of times as we breathe, flapping our wings. And then we'll bring our arms forward, reaching, and let them come down by our side. Good. We'll bring our feet in front of us into a long-legged butterfly, which is where I'm already at. So if you like a pillow under your legs like I do, if that helps you relax, you can do that. And we'll just come forward here Relax forward over the legs. And if you want, while you're here, you can massage your feet as well. Give the feet a little bit of attention. We often start out in butterfly because it's such a good beginning. It's such a wonderful pose because it gently opens the hips and stretches the sacrum area, stretches that gallbladder meridian. So as always with our yin practice, we want to come inside, just go inside and notice, let our attention be on our breath with our body, right? And just notice what's there without any kind of trying to change anything or wishing something would be different or just allowing, noticing if there's any tightness in any parts of our body as we go inside. If there's any holding on anywhere, we can send our breath into those places. And hopefully most of the time, we're enjoying the sensations that we have in our body. Right? Sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but most of the time, we don't do things that are too strenuous or difficult, and we can really let go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and come up from there slowly, just kind of walk yourself up to sitting, and you might do a little windshield wiper of the legs, if that feels good to your hips and your legs. And then we'll come into 90-90. So let's bring our left leg forward first, and our right leg will be out. I might have to have a little pillow for my right leg out at the side. Move very slowly here. After I do a sweat and go into yin, it's a little different. So finding that 90-degree angle, maybe under my knee. There we go. Yeah. And then we'll come forward over that left leg. Now you might want a pillow or bolster under your arms, or just start out with your elbows on the ground. Start with making sure the knees in line with our hip. We can vary the position of the lower leg. We can always bring it closer to us. If we want to, come more into a sleeping swan, or we can keep it in that 90-90 angle, 90-degree angle. And we'll slide our right leg back as far as it wants to go. Might not go all the way back, just wherever it goes. Yeah. And you might move your arms, adjust them over to the left or to the right. You can change the amount of pressure in that stretch, right? Amount of stretch by moving the arms. And as I mentioned, you can also bring your foot in closer to you if you like to put more bend in that knee and more compression into your knee. I like to have the option of going into more of a swan if you prefer that, which is like pigeon in yang yoga, or staying in the 90-90. And of course, anytime a pose doesn't feel right to you for whatever reason, you can always do a different pose altogether, as long as it's focusing on basically the same area. For instance, this is a hip stretch, right? A good stretch for our hips, as well as a little hip opening on the other side. Also, if you like to count the breath, it's always a good way to help our mind relax and come into the present moment. The mind tends to like to wander, which is not a bad thing. It's just that if you want to bring it back to the breath, counting the breath is always helpful for that, right? You can inhale for 4 and then take a little pause and exhale out for 6 or 8 counts. Anytime during the practice that you want to do that. So we will use our arms to sort of press ourselves up and take a little bit of a back bend here. So if you prefer to be more in swan and you're on top of your leg like that, or if you prefer the 90-90, any of those variations, we're just going to sort of press our torso up and look up a little bit, create just a little back bend using our arms and feeling that increased stretch through the back, that right hip flexor area, right in the front of our hip there. You can even bend your right leg and grab hold of your foot or ankle if you prefer to, if you like to really get into that full position all the way. Of course, if we are on top of our leg with our knee bent and in that swan position more, then we get an increased compression in our knee, which may or may not feel good, and increased compression in the hip area. Also get a little bit of a stretch in the front of the neck, and by lifting the head up, if we like that, and compression in the back of the neck. Just any of the variations or whatever feels right for you. Okay, and then we'll come back down for a little bit longer into this sleeping swan or sleeping 90-90. We're gonna call, I'm making that one up. Okay. Also called a resting pigeon in the Yan Yoga world. Okay, let's go ahead and start to slowly come up from there. And as we start to lift up, we'll slide our right leg up, right, and come to sitting. And bring your legs out in front of you, and you can just give them a little shake or move your hips, move your legs, whatever feels good. And then we'll cross our left leg on top of our right into a half shoelace. If you can align the knees as much as possible. You have the option of also doing just caterpillar with both legs straight if this isn't comfortable for you. And we'll just stretch forward over this leg. So just kind of relaxing, trying to relax over the leg. You might want to slide your hands under that knee. I like to do that for support for the knee. You can put a lot of pressure behind the knee if you're laying down over top of that leg. Of course, you don't have to put your full weight into it. It's enough just to put a little bit of your weight. That's quite an intense stretch for the back of the right leg, the right knee area. Right, so slowly come up from there. Just sitting up. Your leg is crossed over. You can uncross it and shake the legs a little bit. And we'll come into the 90-90 with our right leg forward, left leg out from the hip. Right leg at the top. Again, lining up the knee with our hip, 90-degree angle. And then coming forward, leg, a little support here. You need a bolster under your arms or anywhere, of course. Small pillow, there we go. Of course, you can adjust the amount of pressure by moving your arms either to the right a little bit or to the left a little bit. Just kind of exploring the stretch that way. We'll slide our left leg back to the degree that it wants to go. Of course, if you want to adjust the lower part of the leg, you can always bring your foot closer into you and come more into that swan pose. If you prefer that, it's doable. It's always nice to, if your body is capable of allowing it to increase the compression in the knee or any of our joints, of course, but in the knee joint to the extent that you're able to. It's that compression and stretch in yin that is so nourishing for our joints and our deeper layers of fascia, the ligaments and tendons. Sometimes knee issues can prevent that, or hip issues, but to the degree that we can keep the joints more supple by applying that whatever amount of pressure can. So we'll use our hands to kind of lift up and bring our torso upright. Again, you might be more on your knee or you might be off of the knee. and come into a little bit of a back bend here. Just kind of looking up and increasing that back bend. So this sort of shifts the stretch a little bit into the pelvis area, right? In the sacrum. Although we still feel that stretch in the hip. Hip flexors on the left leg. And we're also obviously using our arms to press us up. So we're activating those upper body meridians that run through our arms and chest and shoulders. And of course, if you want to increase that stretch, you can also grab your foot or ankle of that left leg if that is preferable for you. It's a little tricky for me. Okay, and then we'll just come back down for a little longer into that resting version. So we're just laying on the leg. All right, we will slowly come up from there. And as you start to come up, slide the left leg up with you and come around to bring the legs in front. See how I can do that. If I can do that, okay. Give them a little shake or wiggle or move them around. And then we'll cross the right leg over the left. We can stack our knees as best as we can. Optional caterpillar, which I might need to do today. Just both legs extended in front. We'll relax forward over our legs. Obviously, the half shoelace puts more pressure on the leg that's being stretched. So you might want to wedge your hands under your knee or something to help support your knee. The half shoelace. If we're comfortable rounding our spine when we're in a forward fold and letting that head hang, of course, we're stretching the spine and decompressing the vertebra, which is a really good thing to do if you can tolerate it. Some people don't like to round their spine, or if you have bone loss issues, it's not a good idea. Too much bone density issues, right? A mild amount is okay, but if you have a lot of bone loss, not a good idea to round your back forward, flex the spine. I've been finding that this new year has been feeling a little bit sluggish to get going. The Gregorian calendar year of 2023, but I think the momentum is going to start picking up pretty soon because Mercury and Mars have been going retrogrades, the planets. So once they go forward, I think we're going to feel the year start to take off, and it's going to be quite a year. We have numerologically, of course, it's a 7-year. 2023 adds up to 7. And that's in the tarot, the 7 is the 7 is the Chariot and the Tower cards. So the Chariot card is about being your own, actually driving your own vehicle, right? Being in control of your own destiny. And the Tower card is about letting go of anything that's basically false to fact, anything that's not real, all the personality structures that are not true to who we are need to go. And in the world, we're going to see a lot of shakeup probably. Okay, so we're going to come out of that slowly. So bring yourself up and sitting. We always want to come out fairly slowly, right? Because the connective tissue take a while to bounce back. And then uncross if your legs crossed over. And we'll bring our feet in towards our hips and lean back on our hands and lift our heart. Kind of draw the shoulders back. If you want to, you can lift your hips up and down a few times. Helps get the blood moving in the legs, right? And taking a couple breaths here. I don't know if you could see my cat. He's in a yin pose. See him? Kind of in the corner there. Okay. All right, so we're going to come around into Sphinx. So if you want to bring a pillow or a folded up blanket with you or something, whatever you like to use, and we'll come onto our elbows. And you can let the pelvis relax, maybe rock your body a little bit side to side. pelvis go here. Takes a while to get used to coming into a little back bend after forward folding. So movement is always good. Tensing the muscles is also good. Contracting and releasing. And also lift the feet up if you want to increase that back bend and increase the stretch in the front of the body. All right, let's take a short break in half frog. So sliding that left knee up toward our left shoulder and looking to the left, resting the head on the hands. If you want, you can bring your right arm alongside your body as well. Support your shoulder better that way. You can also move this left leg a little farther up or bring your feet farther out, or just kind of whatever feels good to your hip, just relaxing that hip. Okay, we'll slide the leg back down and come back into Sphinx pose. You can put a folded up blanket or something under your arms if you want, or you can just straighten the arms and come into seal with our hands a little bit farther apart, fingers spread out, spread wide, and also optional putting a pillow underneath the pelvis and seal for support. Pelvis area. So if you are in seal, you can bring the hands as close in towards you as feels comfortable and doable. Increase that back bend. Having a pillow underneath the pelvis really does help if you'd like to do seal and you find it a bit of a challenge. It's much better, much easier to do with a pillow under the pelvis in the thigh area. It increases the load on our shoulders and our arms to be in seal. obviously increases the compression in the sacrum, which is good for the sacrum, the health of our sacrum. Going back and forth between the stretching it and compressing it, that is so beneficial, that joint. Fixation that can happen in the sacrum joint is 4 times more likely, or increased by 4 times the amount if you're sitting a lot as opposed to standing or moving. Doing a lot of sitting then would be very good for your sacrum to go back and forth between some long held forward folding and some back bending. If you happen to be up in seal, you might want to start to slowly make your way down to Sphinx. Take your time, but probably want to gradually come back down. Just depending on your body needs, how it feels. Just want to tune into our own body. And we'll take a short break in frog on the right side. So it's lining that right knee up and looking to the right. And let your left arm relax by your side if that's easier on the shoulder. Here, there we go. Okay, go ahead and slide that right leg back down, and we'll come up onto our all fours. If you're not able to, you can find another position where you can move your spine. And we'll just gently, slowly start to curl the tailbone under, round the back, maybe release the head and neck, and then coming slowly into an arch, lifting the tailbone, just moving slowly to begin with and gently, so our spine can come back to normal here. And then we'll come to neutral and give a little circle to our hips by letting them go nice and big in a circular motion and letting our spine kind of move wherever it wants to go. It spirals around. And then the other direction, kind of circle it a couple times the other way. And then we'll sit back into a child's pose. If you aren't able to do that, you can just be on your back maybe and hug your knees and put some compression, a little bit of compression to the knees and hips that way. Child's pose is such a great stretch for our sacrum. Obviously, good stretch for the hips and the knees, get a little bit of compression. All right, so we're going to come up from there and come onto our back. So if you want to have bolstering available someplace close by, let's put it on our right side this time. And we'll hug our knees into our chest. Just take a little time to rock around or whatever feels good to you. And you might curl up into a ball, bringing your head towards your knees, rounding. Also, if you want to use a strap, make sure you have that available. I forgot to mention, you might want that. So we'll put our right foot on the mat and we'll curl up to our left knee and reach in and grab hold of our foot. This is where if you want to use a strap, you can wrap it around your foot, or you can just use your hand, lie back down. So we're in a half happy baby or supine dragon, and then slide that right leg down the mat. We can use both hands on our foot, or we can use one hand or the strap, whatever your preference is. We just want the sole of the foot to be facing the ceiling and kind of pulling that knee down toward the ground as we stretch our right leg long and feel that stretch through the front of our right hip flexors. then we're going to take this into a twist. So if you want to release your foot, if you're holding on with the strap, you can let go of that. And then might want to adjust your hips a little bit to the left, and we'll guide our leg across the body. Make sure you have bolsters there if you need it, pillows or whatever, and have your left arms extended out from the left shoulder. And that arm's maybe a little bent and a little bit upward. So we get a stretch through the front of our shoulder and arm, making sure that leg is supported. That left leg is supported. And your right leg can be either straight or you can bend it. You can bring your foot up towards your hip if you like. It's wherever you prefer that leg to be. Making sure our shoulders all the way on the ground. As our breath deepens us into our twist, you might find what I do anyway is I remove some of the bolstering under my leg as, as my body gets used to being in the twist. You can deepen in a little bit more or not. Okay, so we'll start to come out of the twist on that side by maybe grabbing hold of your left leg and bringing it back up and sliding your right leg up and hugging your knees, letting your body rock around a little bit. If you're using any bolsters, you can shift them over to the other side. And then we'll bring our left foot on the ground and curl up to our right knee. And again, if you're using a strap and you want to put it around your foot, otherwise grab the foot with your hand and lie back down into our half happy baby and slide the left leg down the mat. Again, you might want to hold on with both hands, or I like to do that. It gives me a good grip on my foot. So as long as our sole of our foot's pointing toward the ceiling and our pull that knee down toward the ground, good stretch through left hip flexor and feel that in the right hip as well. And obviously our arms are pretty active, so there's that little bit of a yang aspect of this pose. We're bringing a little bit more yang using our arms. All right, and then we'll come into a twist. So if you want to release the strap, if you're using it, and you center or kind of shift your hips a little bit to the right, then guide that right leg across the body and extend our arm out from our shoulder, giving the leg support in the twist. Making sure our shoulders on the ground. And if you like, you can bend your left leg and bring your foot up towards your hip, or you can leave it straight. Obviously, the bend will increase a little bit of that stretch in the front of our left thigh area and knee. And if you'd like your knee to be higher up, puts our twist more in the upper part of our back, or if we want our knee to be a little lower down, puts the twist more in the lower part of our spine. So getting back on my train, off my train track about the year as being a 7, it's, so the 7, the number 7 is some of the key words for that number, numerologically, are self-understanding. It's a spiritual number. It's about awareness, and also can be tests and challenges. So it's very much a spiritual challenging year this year, I think, with the fact that it's a number 7, and also what's going on with the planets in the sky this year. It will be a good idea to be firmly anchored in ourselves and doing any kind of releasing of what no longer serves us, that might be lingering. We probably all have some of that still, and I know I do. And letting go of, and then bringing our real true selves out into the world. It's going to be a year for letting our light shine, right? Bringing our true self out. And in order to do that, we have to let go of the stuff that's not part of our true self. Being willing to let go of everything that's in the way. Easier said than done, but doable. Definitely doable. So you might notice yourself going a little bit into some deeper, more into some deeper layers of relaxation in your twist, which is why we like to do the twist at the end. It balances our nervous system, brings our spine back into balance. And it's very relaxing, obviously, as well as nourishing for all of our inner organs, right? Internal organs. So you can stay a little longer in the twist if you want, or you can start to come out of it and come onto your back and maybe hug your knees again if you want, anything that feels good to you. So we'll just take a little bit of time to integrate. And like I said, feel free to stay a little longer in the twist or come onto your back and relax and breathe.
Yeah, gotta go. Thank you.
So, so taking a moment to relax and breathe, just notice how you feel. Maybe tune into your heartbeat. Yeah. Feel your breath. It's okay if you need to leave. But if you can take a moment just to breathe and integrate the energy, feeling your breath circulating through your body, all those channels, noticing if it's a little bit slower, a little deeper. Your mind is a little bit more relaxed. Just giving thanks to our body. I'm grateful for all that it does for us. Grateful for our breath, for being there, whether we're conscious of it or not. And I'm giving thanks to Gaia, the mother, for always being there for us. And that connection to her. Feel free to get up slowly or continue laying down. No need to get up unless you want to. Thank you all for coming. I'll go ahead and do that.